One Idiot's introduction to Warhammer presented by one idiot. That's me, Sly Bacon. Welcome back guys, in today's video we're going to be introducing the Greenskins, who most people simply refer to as the Orcs, which is my favourite race in Warhammer and also my favourite race in all fantasy games. So let's begin. The Greenskins are a highly primitive, tribal and warlike race of barbarians and raiders that occupy much of the Eastern Hemisphere. They are considered by many to be the scourge of all civilization. The Greenskin race is divided into three species: Orcs, Goblins and Squigs. Within these three species there are multiple subspecies. The Orc subspecies are the Common Orc, the Savage Orc and the Black Orc. The Goblin subspecies are the Common Goblin, the Forest Goblin, the Night Goblin, the Nobbler, the Snotlings, and the Hobgoblin. And lastly, the Squig subspecies are the Cave Squig, the Great Cave Squig, the Colossus Squig, the Squig Gobber, the Horn Squig, the Gas Squig, and the Spike Squig. The origins of the Greenskins is unknown, however the most likely explanation is that their spores were either mistakenly introduced to the world by the Old Ones, or that they drifted through space and arrived in the world by some other means. All species of Greenskins have genetics of both animal and fungal life forms. They are neither male or female. They reproduce by generating spores within their bodies which are released upon being killed. But this is where the similarities between the species end. What Orcs lack in intelligence, which is a lot, they make up for it in sheer brutality and immense survival instincts. Orcs are big, normally between 6 and 7 feet tall, immensely muscular, with the biological ability to repair themselves at an incredible rate. Orcs respect power and strength above all else. Orcs love nothing more than a good bit of melee biffo. Orcs are immortal and only die by mortal wounds. As an orc ages he grows in size and his skin darkens. Goblins are the complete opposite, small and fragile. When compared to other races, they would not be considered intelligent. However, compared to the Orcs, they are geniuses. Never underestimate goblins. They are, after all, Greenskins, and although not physically imposing, they are cunning and ruthless. And lastly we have the Squigs. Although related to the Orcs and Goblins, they are not humanoid but beasts. They are the main domestic animal for the Greenskins and are used from everything from meat to skins to war beasts. Being primal in nature, the Greenskin society is pretty easy to understand. The Squigs serve the Goblins serve the Orcs, and the Orcs serve themselves. The society is based and dominated by strength and power. The way to climb the ladder within the Greenskins is by defeating the guy above you, normally by killing him. Greenskins are not a united race and are divided up into many different tribes. Notable tribes include the Bloody Sun Boys, the Iron Claw tribe, and the Broken Axe Goblins. Fighting within and amongst tribes is very common. The leader of a tribe is called a warboss, and a leader of multiple tribes is called a warlord. However, warlords are rare. Tribes are generally dominated by orcs due to their size and power, however there are notable goblin tribes. As orcs rise through the ranks, their physical size and strength increases. As you can imagine, old high-ranking orcs are massive. When a tribe gets to a decent size, multiple tribes unite, and the Greenskins go on a warrg, which is slang for war. Once a warrg has begun, multiple tribes from far and wide generally join, as no Greenskin wants to miss out on a good old fight. A warrg, and yes I'm going to say it funny every single time, is only as strong as the warboss or warlord leading it. As long as there is fighting to be had, and the warboss or warlord can maintain control, the warrg, yes, will continue. However, once a break in the fighting happens, a warrg is quickly abandoned. Gorban Ironclaw was the mightiest warlord that ever lived. Gorban Ironclaw and his tribe, the Ironclaw Orcs, absorbed the Broken Tooth tribe along with the local Goblin and Night Goblin tribes to create a massive force of Greenskin warriors. Gorban led a huge warrg across the known world only to be stopped at the gates of Aldorf, the first city of the Empire. Unable to breach the city, the warrg quickly became impatient and splintered. On his journey home, Gorban and his remaining warriors from the Ironclaw and Broken Tooth tribes were ambushed by a group of dwarfs. He has not been seen since. His fate is unknown. Arzeg the Slaughterer was a powerful warlord who ruled over a great many tribes in the Badlands. Arzeg's tale truly began after he unearthed an ancient magic crown in a ruined city of Toldheim. This crown was the crown of the sorcerer, an ancient artifact of the great necromancer Nagash, and the ancient Lynch's insidious spirit still clung to the artifact. Arzeg rode on an enormous and exceptionally powerful wyvern named Skullmuncher. Azhag was slain by Viren von Kriestart, the Grand Master of the Knights Panther, at the Battle of Osterwald. Grimgor Ironhide is still currently alive, and he is the most violent Black Orc warboss that has ever existed. He leads a tribe of orcs who lay waste to all across the old world. Skarsnip is the chieftain of the Crooked Moon tribe, the most powerful Night Goblin warlord that has ever existed. Skarsnip is famous amongst the Greenskin race for his astonishing sneakiness and cunning in strategy and subterfuge. And our last section is the most interesting and the most fun. It is the army section, so the Greenskin battle tactics are simple yet effective. Run into the enemy and smash them, winning by sheer brutality and numbers. So here are some of my favourites and most notable Greenskin army units. So let's start with the infantry. First up we have the Orc boys. These are hard fighting warriors and form the backbone of the Greenskin army. They are generally just simple orcs who have crude armour and weapons. Next up we have Biggins. These are large, wealthy and high status orcs who form the elite of the Greenskin army. They are equipped with some of the finest weapons and armour within the tribe and fight in their own dedicated warband of heavy infantry. Next up we have probably the most famous unit in the Greenskin army, that is the Black Orcs. Black Orcs are big, mean and heavily armoured. They are equipped with impossibly large thick plates of black armour and are armed with weapons that can cleave a knight in two. These warriors form the crack elite infantry of many Greenskin armies. And lastly I had to give these guys an honourable mention, that is the Goblins. So the Goblins are small, they're cowards, they're pretty bad fighters. They're poorly equipped, but they make up the bulk of the Greenskin army. Whatever they lack in quality, they make up for in quantity. So moving along to the Greenskin cavalry units, first up we have the Orc boar boys. You have to be a brave orc indeed to ride a war boar. These animals are hot-tempered and often result in the death of many riders. In battle, mobs of boar boys fulfill the role of heavy cavalry. So next up we have the Goblin Wolf Riders. As bad as goblins are at melee combat, they're equally as good as Wolf Riders. Wolf Riders are the light infantry of the Greenskin army, and they're often equipped with spears or composite bows. And our last cavalry unit is the Forest Goblin Spider Rider. Do I need to say any more? It's a goblin that rides a spider, man. Come on. So next we're going to be looking at the Greenskin War Beasts, and none of these are actually greenskins, they just like fighting with the greenskins, I guess. So first up we have the Trolls. So Trolls are huge, they're monsters, they're hungry. Literally, they're hungry, that's why they're fighting, so they can have something to eat. So next unit we have is Giants. So Giants are often employed by the greenskins in exchange for food. The Giants often wield massive clubs or literally a tree. Yes, literally a tree. They don't wear any armour. They're highly susceptible to ranged attacks, but if they're fighting an army without any range, they're very hard to take down in close quarters combat. Next up we have the Arknarak Spider. This is a gigantic spider, ridden by forest goblins. This spider provides a safe and elevated position where the goblins can fire arrows down upon their enemies. Next up we have the Wyvern, which is a degenerated offshoot of the Dragon Rat. When captured or subdued by a powerful orc, wyverns are often used as flying mounts for many powerful orc warlords. So lastly we're going to be looking at the artillery, which in the Greenskin army is limited and crude at best. So the first one is the Rock Lobber, which is a primitive version of the trebuchet, often used to throw orcs over battlements. The Rock Lobber is manned by a group of goblins. Next up we have the Spear Chucker, which is a primitive version of the ballista or spear thrower. This artillery piece has been used extensively by the Orcs and Goblins as a way to impale large monsters from a safe distance. Now of course, leading the Greenskin armies we have the Orc and the Goblin warbosses. So these guys are heavily equipped with both armour and weapons. So the last unit we're going to be looking at is the Great Shaman. Amongst the Orc tribes, the Great Shaman is the most powerful spellcasters known to the Greenskins, capable of everything from melting brains to summoning the great foot of the mighty Gork himself. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of this video. Hopefully you've enjoyed it. It was a quick introduction to the Greenskin race. I might do an extended and more in-depth version later on. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching, and we will catch you next time.